Hey everyone, it's Rose and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my June wrap up, so I'm going to talk you through every single book I read in June, let you know a bit about what I thought about them and tell you what I rated them. This month has been my best month of reading so far in 2023 because I read a grand total of 31 books this month, which is crazy. I did film 2 week-long reading vlogs where I had reading challenges where I had to spend a lot of hours reading. So that is why I've read so many. This is not an average reading month for me. I read a lot. We have a lot to get into in this video. So we're going to start off with physical books and then we'll go to books I read on Kindle Unlimited or I listened to the audiobooks of, or books I just don't have physical copies of, because I think that's going to be the easiest way to order these books. That is a lot of books. So these are all the physical books I read in June. Let me take you through them. So these first 5 books I read were all in a reading vlog. It's on my page now. It's called Reading 200 Pages a Day for a Week. And if you want to see my thoughts in more depth for these 5 books, go check that video out. But I started off with Happy Place by Emily Henry. And I, of course, rated this book 5 stars. It was so good. It did make me tear up. The way Emily Henry writes is so beautiful. I definitely recommend. This is kind of a literary fiction, second chance romance, found family. It was just incredible. It's about, there are 6 friends that all go to this summer house every summer and spend a week together. It's 3 couples and this is the last summer they're gonna all go back together before it has to be sold. One of the couples has broken up and not told the rest of them, and they have to try and figure out how to either break the news to them that they're all broken up or fake date and pretend they're still happy and in love. Even though she doesn't know why he broke up with her still, she doesn't know the reason. It's just so beautiful, so good. Would definitely recommend 5 stars. Next up, I read 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. I rated this one 5 stars as well. There are some amazing books in this wrap-up, can I just say. This is about 6 people going on summer vacation in a rented RV. They all lose signal when they're trying to find their way in the dark, and then suddenly all 4 of their tires are shot. The gas tank is shot, so it's empty, so they have no way out. There's a sniper outside and he wants to know, someone on the RV has a secret and he wants to know what. So they start revealing secrets that they've never told anyone, and he's like, the guy on the walkie-talkie is like, thank you for that information, but that was not the secret I wanted. And they're all finding these things out about each other. So many plot twists. I never knew what was the secret they wanted to know. I never knew what was going on. So good. Young adult thriller, would definitely recommend again. I read Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I rated this one 4 stars. This is really cute. It's a rom-com, but it also deals with deeper topics like grief, and it also is very interesting because this girl, our main girl, is obsessed with true crime. She's writing like her, is it called a dissertation? I don't know. But she's writing it on the genre of true crime. So you see all these little tidbits, these little references that are very niche, and if you enjoy true crime, I think you will love this book regardless of what genres you like. But this was so good. It was so fun, so sweet, and I really loved how their relationship, it went a little bit different to how most rom-coms play out. Let's put it that way. It was really good. So fun. So cute. Next we have Mouth to Mouth by Anthony Wilson. This was sent to me by Atlantic Books, I think. Thank you to the publishers. Unfortunately, I rated this book 2 stars. I think it's supposed to be a literary thriller. I just didn't find anything about it thrilling. Honestly, I've almost forgotten the premise of the book. The only reason I didn't DNF it is, one, because I was sent it, so I did want to finish it to be able to give a honest review of the whole thing. And also, it's got really short chapters, the writing's quite big, and it's like 240 pages. So I was like, you know what, let's just get it finished. I really didn't enjoy it. I really tried to, especially because I was sent it, but it just wasn't for me. I'm sure there are lots of people that love it though. I mean, it's literally a Barack Obama summer read, so it's just not for me. I'm sure it will be for someone else. Then I read The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton and rated it 3 stars. This book had such an interesting premise. It was like Groundhog Day. Every day, Evelyn Hardcastle is gonna die. And then the day is repeated over and over again. And every day this guy wakes up in a different guest's body on the day that he knows she's gonna die, and he has to figure out how. I would have loved this book so much more if it wasn't so confusing. It was really good. I rated it 3 stars, but so you're following like, I think 8 days, and he's in a different body each day, but the chapters will go to like day 2, then the next one is day 5 continued, and then day 3, and then day 6, and then day 2 continued, and I just couldn't keep up with which day was which body, because obviously he was interacting with himself in other bodies, kind of. It just got way too complicated and my little brain could not compute. But I did enjoy it, even if I was confused. So 3 stars. And these next 6 books are in a reading vlog that is coming soon, where I swapped my screen time for reading. And I filmed myself reading these 6 books, as well as some others that I don't have physical copies of. We have Romancing Mr. Bridgerton and To Sir Philip with Love, both by Julia Quinn. These are books 4 and 5, I think, in the Bridgerton series. I rated these both 3 stars. They were really good and they're really fun and really easy to listen to, so I was listening to the audiobooks of them. I'm not a big fan of historical fiction. I think this is the only historical romance that I've ever read, honestly, and I enjoy just, you know, the rich people drama and all of that aspect of it. 3 stars. I enjoyed them. We have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love this book so much. I rated it 4 stars, but I think it's more like a 4.5 because I've not been able to, I haven't stopped thinking about it since I started it. Just now realising this camera's blurry. I listened to the audiobook of this, and the way it's told is kind of, I'm trying to figure a page to show you. It's kind of written in script as like an interview format, and the audiobook has a whole cast of characters, so every time a different person is speaking, it's a different narrator. It's not just someone putting on different voices and accents. It's all different people, and it made me feel so immersed in this world. I loved it so much, and I would definitely recommend. I read City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. These are the first 3 books in the Mortal Instruments series, and then I've been told to take a break and read the Infernal Devices trilogy and then go back and read the last 3 of these. Anyway, I went from like a mix of reading the physical copies and listening to the audiobooks for these ones. I rated City of Bones 4 stars. It was really good. I'm just looking back at my thing to see what I rated them all. This was 4 stars. City of Ashes was 4 stars as well, and City of Glass was 3.5 stars. I think because I was starting to get into a reading slump from the video, and I kind of just wanted this one to be over because it was like 500 pages, but I think if I were to reread it, I would still really enjoy it. I'm so glad that that famous plotline that everyone knows about was resolved, because that's the reason I was putting off this series for so long, because I knew about that plotline. But I'm so glad that what happened in City of Glass happened, and now I can sleep peacefully and enjoy this series. I have 2 Colleen Hoover books. I have Confess, which I ended up rating 4.5 stars. This book, so good. So good. So, I don't want to say fun, but I had a good time reading it. I read it while I was on holiday, so I enjoyed myself. I took my time with it, and it was really good, really emotional. That prologue, I was like, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to do this book, like to read it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle it. I loved how realistic that ending was, of how it all tied together, how the characters tied together. I love that it wasn't some crazy like, we knew each other for so long but can't believe she doesn't recognize me. I liked the way he knew her and she didn't know him. Like, I liked how realistic that was. Definitely recommend, but check trigger warnings. The link to my story graph is down below. Then I'm currently reading All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. I'm not quite finished with it yet, but I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be rating this book 3.5 stars. This book had so much potential. It was going so well, and who knows, maybe it could turn around. That is definitely not my final rating because I'm just over halfway through it. I'm just at the point where the bit that happened... I can't say anything about spoiling, but I just got to the point where the big thing in this book happens. Like, I knew it was going to happen, but there were so many people that tried to redeem the character that I was like, it must happen under different circumstances, no? This book talks a lot about grief, infertility, like grieving the loss of someone that was never really alive and just the loss of something. It goes from then and now of first meeting to now their marriage is falling apart. I was really enjoying it up until this point, so I don't actually know what my final rating is going to be. Now we're going to go on to books I didn't have the physical copies of. So, first up, I read books 1 to 3 in the Witsec series by Ashley Rostek. These covers are beautiful, so I just have to show you. We have Find Me, Save Me, and Love Me. I rated Find Me 5 stars, Save Me 5 stars, and Love Me 4.5 stars. So these are about a girl who is in a witness security program. It's a dark suspense romance. I need book 4 because the book 3 ended on a cliffhanger. Book 4 ain't out till September, I don't think. So annoyed, but so excited. Anyway, so she's in witness security, and the only other person in her life who knows what's going on is her uncle, because he's trained in like FBI, but when she turns 18 he has to leave her because he's trying to hunt down the man who killed her whole family and is the reason she's in the witness security program. And so she's stuck on her own with no one. She had to like retake her last year of high school, and she meets these 4 brothers who live next door to her, who protect her, help her out, teach her to start trusting people. They become her friends. They become more than friends in some cases, like and she also meets a girl and a guy who she becomes really close with, and then they end up together, and it's just really cute but really dark. Please check trigger warnings. Like I said, my story graph is linked below, where I have all my reviews, have all the content warnings for the books. So please do check them out. You don't have to check mine out. You can check it out from someone else, but please just check them because it was really dark, but so good. Then I went on a Frida McFadden binge read. How many of her books did I read? 11. I read 11 Frida McFadden books. If you don't know who Frida McFadden is, I'm going to show you some of her book covers and you probably will know. Have you seen The Housemaid before? It's everywhere. It's got like 400,000 ratings on Goodreads. But I read 11 of her books. They are all on Kindle Unlimited. They're all thrillers with crazy plot twists. I don't think I guessed all of the plot twists in any of the books. Maybe I guessed a few plot twists, but I was always surprised by the actual ending. So let's go through them. First up, I read The Housemaid, and I rated it, you guessed it, 5 stars. So this is about a woman who is desperate for a job, but she has a criminal record. She did 10 years in prison for murder, but it was like self-defense. She walked on this guy trying to force himself on her best friend. So like self-defense, threw something at him, but obviously she ended up going to prison for murder. So she can't get like a proper job, and she's like living in her car. She is desperate. So she wants to do something like cleaning someone's apartment or like someone's house. She could take care of the kids, something like that. And she gets a position, and things start to look really weird with the woman at the house. And then when she starts to get suspicious, she realizes just a little bit too late that her door locks from the outside, not the inside. And that's all I can really tell you. 5 stars, so good, such a good thriller. Check trigger warnings, they're linked down below, like I said. I'll stop saying that now. Just do it, trust me. Definitely recommend. The next book I read was The Housemaid's Secret, which was a continuation. We follow the same main girl, but it's with a different family. 5 stars. Can't tell you anything about it because it would ruin book 1, other than I definitely recommend, and do read them in order. Definitely. So good. Then I read Never Lie by Freida McFadden. I rated this one 5 stars as well. What can I say? Her books are amazing. Did I mention they're all on Kindle Unlimited? Anyway, this is about a couple who, they're like going out to drive to the middle of nowhere to go and look at this house that they want to buy. And there's a snowstorm and they end up stuck there with no signal. And then they realize this is the house of a psychologist who went missing and is believed to have been murdered by one of her patients. And then there's a secret room that the woman finds that's full of tapes that recorded this woman's therapy sessions with all these mentally ill people, and she's trying to figure out like, oh my god, did this one kill her? Who is this person's voice and why does it sound so familiar? So good. 5 stars. Read it. Check trigger warnings though. We have Ward D by Freida McFadden, which I rated 4.5 stars. This is about a girl who ends up, so she's like studying to be a doctor, and it's her shift at Ward D, which is a ward for mentally ill people, and there's only one way to get out, and you need a key code for the lock. But she's really scared of going there because the last time she went to like a ward for mentally ill people, it was to visit her best friend who was like, you're the one that should be in here, and you're trying to figure out why. And then stuff starts happening and she realizes she can't get out of Ward D when the hours are ticking by because the power went out and now the lock don't work and they're stuck in there. Very dark. It wasn't quite as good as the other ones, but it was still very good. 4.5 stars. We have The Inmate by, you guessed it, Freida McFadden, which I rated 4 stars. This is about a woman who goes to work as the nurse at a prison ward, and one of the guys in the prison ward is her ex-boyfriend who got put in there for murdering all of her friends, and she's the reason he's in there because like her testimony was the reason he got put in there. That's all I can tell you. Crazy plot twists. Crazy plot twists. Oh my god, so good. Oh my god, so good. 4 stars. Do Not Disturb, and rated this one 4 stars as well. This is about, the first chapter is a woman who's just killed her husband. Why is my phone doing that? She kills her husband and then she fled the scene, and she goes to this like inn where no one has ever been. There's just one old lady like that lives in one of the rooms. She's on the run from the police, and her sister gets suspicious because she was supposed to meet her on like the Monday, and it gets to Monday and she ain't there, so her sister's trying to help look for her as well. Something happens at the hotel. I can't tell you what happens. I never would have guessed the plot twist. I kind of was like I thought I'd understood the pattern of Freida McFadden and how her brain works, so I was like, I bet it's this person. Oh my god, did I not expect what happened? Oh, so good. So good. 4 stars. Then I read Do You Remember? This is about a woman who wakes up and it's not her fiance in her bed. Some random guy. She looks in the mirror. She looks 10 years older than she was when she went to sleep last night. Turns out a year ago she was in an accident and she has short-term memory loss, so every morning she wakes up with no memory of the last, I think it's 7 years. She's not with the guy she was engaged to in her last memory. She's now with someone else. But she doesn't... Things start to not add up. She's not quite sure what's going on, and then she's slowly realizing, like, hang on a second, like, why am I not allowed to get out? Why are all the doors locked? And her, I think, boyfriend tries to explain it away and is like, oh, because you might wander the streets and get lost, and like you have seizures sometimes. But she's like, I don't feel like I'm gonna. Crazy. 4 stars. I can't tell you anymore, but just read these books by Freida McFadden, okay? Then I read a short story called The Gift by Freida McFadden and rated it 4 stars. It was really good. I can't tell you anything because it was literally only 50 pages, but it was really interesting, really creepy, and really, really good. Read it. We have Want to Know a Secret by Freida McFadden, which I rated, you guessed it, 4 stars. This book was so good. It's about this woman who she has this like little YouTube baking show, and her son goes and like plays outside in the back garden, and then she finishes her like YouTube little cooking show and is calling her son's name and he's not answering, and then she gets a text and it's like, want to know a secret? Your son is not where you think he is. These cars are so annoying. She's like, oh my god, what is going on? And then it just turns out, like, he walked next door to this new neighbor's house, and she's like, he told me that, like, he's coming to play with my son, like, blah, blah, blah. It's explained away. Anyway, she forms a friendship with her, and then things start to feel a little bit off with her son, and a bit suspicious. And I can't tell you anymore, but I can tell you that she's getting texts like, want to know a secret, blah, 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 and she doesn't know who it's from. Someone's like blackmailing her. Creepy. I wouldn't have guessed, again, would not have guessed those plot twists. Then we have The Locked Door by Freida McFadden, which I rated 4 stars. This is about a girl. Well, she's a woman, but when she was a girl, when she was like 10, her dad was arrested for being a serial killer of women that all fit a certain, like, description. And he would keep their severed hands as trophies, right? In the basement, which had a locked door, was where he would kill these people. And obviously, she was like 10. She didn't know what was going on. All she knew, she was never allowed in the locked door. It's like 20-something years later, on the anniversary of his capture, girls of the same description start turning up murdered with their hands severed, and they're her patients where she works. Her dad kind of been doing it though, because he's in jail, so who knows who she is and who is trying to frame her. So messed up, but so good. 4 stars. And the last Freida McFadden book is One by One, which I read on holiday as well. It's about 6 friends that are going to this like fancy B&B inn type thing. They take a turning down the path, they lose signal, but it's fine because one of the people there has a map. Apart from the truck that the inn like van breaks down, none of them have signal, so they're trying to use this map to find their way to the inn. But they're walking for like hours and hours and they're completely lost. One by one, they all start to disappear from the group. And there are so many plot twists, and once again, could not have guessed who was responsible, what was going on. It was crazy. It was crazy. I honestly recommend everything that she's ever written, even though I haven't read everything she's written yet. I can recommend them all. I read 11 of her books and none of them have been below 4 stars. They're all just so, so good. Okay, let's move on from Freida McFadden because we've talked about her enough for now. I listened to a Taylor Jenkins Reid short story called Evidence of the Affair, which is letters told between 2 people who, so this one woman figures out her husband is having an affair with this guy's wife. So they start writing back and forth to each other. Then you get her husband and his wife who are having the affair writing back and forth to each other. And it's just a short story about infidelity, basically. It was fun. I rated it 3 stars. It was very interesting to read about and listen to. It's free to listen to on Kindle Unlimited. It's also free to read on Kindle Unlimited. Okay, the next 3 books I read, and the last 3 books I read, were all Jessa Cain novellas. If you don't know who Jessa Cain is, all her books are on Kindle Unlimited. They're all under like 150 pages max. All 3 that I read were on 100 pages. They have no plot, really. They're just really quick, like, palate cleansers, because it's too hot right now for my brain to hold any, like, information in any sort of confusing book. So I just read these. The first one I read was When You Know, and I rated it, what did I rate it? I rated it 2 stars. See what I mean? It's kind of like, it was a palate cleanser, but it had no plot to it. And that's all I can say about it, because they're so short that there's no plot for me to explain. Then I read When the Farmer Met the City Girl and rated it 3 stars. Again, can't explain the plot because there isn't really any. And lastly I read Debutante's Curse and rated it 2 stars. So the best out of the 3 was When the Farmer Met the City Girl. But, you know. Can I actually recommend any of them? I don't know. I don't think so. But that is everything I read. 31 books in June. That is going to be another crazy reading month for me, because I'm going to try and read 30 books in 30 days. Look out for those videos coming soon, because there's going to be some reading vlogs for that. I'm also going to have daily updates on my TikTok. Anyway. Oh my god, this is going to fall on me. That is everything I have for this video. Let me know what your favourite read of June was. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I would like to thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see more from me, please be sure to like and subscribe, as I post new videos every single Monday, and I'm going to have some extra ones in the month of July because I've got some very exciting ideas. I would like to thank you again all very much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye!